There
are many people around Europe and around the world who feel insecure about this new step. But I want to say to these citizens who feel that it's dangerous, believe in us, believe in your government. We've done this along with all our partners, and the support we're giving to Ukraine is now possible without leading to a serious risk of escalation.
We can now go across to France 24's Nick Spicer standing by in Berlin. Nick, good afternoon to you. You just heard there from the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz calling on his citizens to trust him. What else did he have to say?
It was really an historic speech. After weeks of silence on his thought process and what would be required for these tanks to be sent, he provided a speech which was really one of a sort of paterfamilias, a family father, trying to reassure Germans. He didn't go right to the tank issue. He said, hey, you remember at the beginning of the war, we were all worried we're going to have a cold, angry winter because there wouldn't be Russian gas. Well, we have LNG terminals and we have gas. And then he got to the tank issue and he said, listen, the reason why we are here is because Russia has launched a terrible imperialistic war. And then he justified the decision, saying we never go it alone. We always have to consult with our allies, explaining more or less why it took so long. And he also said that if something wasn't done now, then our own security was at stake. And then the only insight he provided into the the slowness of the decision-making process was saying, right and wrong are hard to determine in these situations. It's difficult to know, and that's why we took our time in consulting closely with allies, always underlining the consultation with allies and that Germany was not actually going it alone, but acting in concert with other countries wanting to help Ukraine.
Nick, the Russian embassy in Berlin has put out a statement in the aftermath of Germany announcing that it would be supplying these Leopard 2 tanks, and basically the embassy is saying the move from Germany would escalate the conflict. Does Germany share that assessment? Does it view its actions now as potentially provocative to Moscow?
No, quite the opposite. In fact, Olaf Scholz said, without this, there is a danger of escalation, without sending the tanks, a danger of escalation in which NATO countries, including Germany, would find themselves directly in conflict with Russia. And as people in Kyiv have been pointing out, if you don't provide us with the Leopard tanks, you may well find yourself using them one day to defend your own country, because the Russians will just roll through. And I think, as regards how that statement will actually be taken, I think Western countries have heard about 18 months of Russian saber rattling over Ukraine, saying just you watch, and this is a provocation. So it's not really going to be anything that will cause Germany or any other country to change course. It's just sort of more of the same language we've been hearing from the Kremlin and now the Russian embassy here in Berlin. So interesting to note, but it won't change things in any way that I can determine.
Nick, thank you very much for the update. Nick Spicer reporting there for us from Berlin.